Hello, I'm Reverend Sean Guerin, and this is your weekly Friday email update. Last week we looked at James chapter 4 at our Sunday service, and we learned something, right? We learned how to be better Christians. And James highlighted that sometimes in churches, sometimes at work, sometimes at home, there are going to be disputes, there'll be fights, there'll be quarrels. And he gives us some instructions on how to work through all of that. And the very first thing he does is, the world doesn't tell us this, but the gospel does. James tells us what to do. He says, if you find yourself having a dispute with someone else or you're fighting, look at yourself first. Examine what's going on in you. You ever get in a fight with somebody and they look at you and say, why does it feel like I'm not fighting about this subject? It feels like I'm fighting every wrong I've ever done. That's what James is speaking to. He's speaking to the fact that sometimes when we have disputes, quarrels, and fights with others, it's coming from something within us, something that's not right. Maybe we're being re-traumatized. Maybe we're being brought back to a moment that was uncomfortable for us. There's a lot going on between parties when they're not happy with each other. And James says to the Christian, take some responsibility and see how you might be contributing something negative to the argument. And that's what the gospel does. It doesn't just tell us what we want to hear. Actually, Galatians, I think it's in Galatians, where Paul makes fun of the church saying, all you want to hear are from people who want to tickle your ears. We're not in the tickling ear club. We're in the know who we are club. And sometimes knowing who we are requires the light to shine on areas of our lives that maybe aren't pretty. But Christ wants you to know that he forgives those parts. He wants to heal those parts by bringing them into the light and healing you within, so that when you do argue with others, you're not bringing in kind of the past or old experiences into the arguments and disputes. And that's how the gospel helps us. That's how the word of God helps. It points us in the right direction so that we can live more holy lives that reflect Jesus Christ. So continue your reading in James. It continues to feed me. And the way that we do the sermons is we cover a book in a series, not just to say Sean's covered all the material, but it's really to invite you into the story so you have some context, so it's not unfamiliar for you. And that way you can just go to town reading the word, and because you have some understanding of who James is. He's Jesus's brother. He's writing to a church. You discover that people in the church 2,000 years ago were just like us today, and so the instruction is relevant. It has meaning for us. And when you read it and apply it, expect to see some transformation, because that's what the gospel is all about, transformation. This Sunday, we're going to have Confirmation Sunday. Ellie and Karen and Donald and Anne and our choir and bells. So many people are coming together to make this a wonderful Sunday service where the kids and Ellie are going to lead us and demonstrate all of the good news they've absorbed through this confirmation process. Also, as you are hearing, Strawberry Festival, all of the preparations are getting made. And so we need volunteers to help us pull that big event off. And just a reminder that one of our pillars is to do love and reach the next generation. Both of those pillars are talking about creating events, creating activities that draw our community in so that we can, one, give them a great experience, two, so we can raise money for our church, but also three, so we can expose them to what we do here, because sometimes people don't know what Christians do in their building every week. So if you can come out and help, this is an event that touches all three pillars. It allows us to be faithful stewards, it helps us reach the next generation, and it is a mission, it's an outreach that invites our whole community to our church. So if you want to help, if you want to be involved, that's what Christians do, they get involved in their church, I want to invite you to reach out to Doug Boyd. If you don't know who Doug is by now, then you come find me and I'll point you to where he is. Also, we have some women's fellowship activities. So if you keep scrolling down in this email blast, you'll see you'll see what's happening there. We have prayer shawl groups that are getting together. Sign up, because our activity in the life of the church breathes life into the church, and it's our duty as Christians to keep this place vibrant and alive. So read through the email, mark your calendars, and look for ways to get plugged in to what's happening here at the United Church of Christ Southbury. God bless, and I hope to see you all in person or online this Sunday.